Welcome to the Driven Moms Answering Adversity interview series, stories of success through setbacks from Mom Elevated. Together, we can shine a light on how normal challenges and struggles are, along with how we can overcome and rise above them. And today we have Alyssa to share her story with us. I'm super excited to dive in. So, if you don't mind, would you just share a little bit about your story to get us started?
So the nutshell version is I'm a business owner, I've got 5 kids I'm homeschooling, and bookworm God follower.
Amazing. This is our second year homeschooling. I have three kiddos, so I bless you. That's amazing. It is a lot. So what do you do as far as entrepreneurship goes then?
I'm a productivity or work-life balance coach. So when moms want to start the business from home, very quickly they run into wait, when do I actually do the business work? Because aren't I supposed to be available to my kids 24/7? And now I need some like decompression time after some marketing or my client calls or just pushed out a ton of content. Where is that supposed to fit in my day? And wait, I have too many balls to keep in the air. How do I handle like running the house and everything and cleaning and cooking and all this stuff for my business? So I like to de-stress all of that and bring it all down so you can have it all truly by getting radical about how much you choose to accept on your own plate.
I love that you use the term radical because I feel like that is exactly the perfect term for what you have to do in order to balance it all or juggle it all. I really, really don't like the term balance because I feel like too many people think of it as like an equilibrium, and that is not at all what it is. But yes, I love the term radical. I think that's beautiful. So then in that sense, what adversity or what challenge, what big adversity have you answered and how? Whether that be from transitioning into the entrepreneurship, if it was during or if it was something from before, like what is the biggest adversity that you've answered and how?
The biggest adversity was actually even starting the business. I mean, yes, the transition to setting up the hours so I could get it off the ground was one thing, and I had something even last semester that was another. But the one that hit the hardest emotionally was going to college, graduating, and saying, I have no clue what my purpose is. This was supposed to tell me, like, what went wrong, God? I'm here for the purpose. I'm here for developing the gifts you put in me. It just didn't happen. I changed my major. I realized I could not work in the education field. And then it's like, there's nothing else I want to do here. I'm not going for a master's. What can I actually do? And the answer that was only realized in hindsight was, well, go deal with the other part of your purpose. Deal with the second half, which was you intended to be a mom and wife. Okay, go start raising the kids. Except I just had that tug in my heart if I want more. So I kept doing what was set in front of me, but for 13 years, I sat there asking God, every month, where is my thing? Where is this extra? Like, it doesn't have to be a job outside the house, but where is it? What is it? I am here for it. I want it. This isn't all there is. I know it, but why is it taking me so long? Doesn't everyone else get dropped with this in college typically or before college? Like, why have I sat here over a decade asking and you still haven't provided it? And it was 6 months after the birth of my fifth child that I heard about online business. And then I suddenly realized that was the answer to everything. I could still be the stay-at-home mom. I could still accomplish that role, what I was called to, and I could mentor other women without leaving my own house. It was like, this is the perfect thing. I mean, I don't know if I was living under a rock. This is 5 years ago. That's the first time I'd heard of online business, but yes, I'm going to step out. I'm going to do this. And boy, was it nice to have that prayer finally answered.
That is perfect. I think it's funny. I think we all feel like we were living under a rock at some point in time before we have this like revelation of something that came to us. I found out about online work from a Pinterest search 10 years ago. Similar. We had gone through 5 babysitters in a month and a half, and I was like, I can't do this to my kid anymore. This is too much. That's a lot of disruption. And he had already been disrupted so much because I had moved. That's when I had met my husband and we moved over here to be with him and he adopted my son. And I was like, I already took him away from everything he knew. I can't now not have some sort of routine for him to, fall into all the changes he's already experiencing. And that's when I found online work as well. And I was like, this is it. I can do this. and I can be with him and provide that. This is it. So I think that's incredible. What do you think then, when you found that answer, what do you think was the hardest part of being like, okay, now we have to make this a reality?
It was really that inner role, the identity that you take on as a mom, because my whole life it had been, well, stay-at-home mom. You need to be a stay-at-home mom. You're going to be a stay-at-home mom. Finally, I am a stay-at-home mom. I'm preaching it's a good thing to be a stay-at-home mom. And now all of a sudden I'm saying, well, wait, actually, I wanted more. I just didn't tell you guys I've always wanted more. So like I knew how to get the time in my calendar. I knew how to set goals and break down the monumental thing of starting a business from the ground up into tasks and just keep knocking them out. It was the pushback from extended family was what I was actually afraid of because I was breaking with the mold.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That is a huge, you were like the black sheep then at that point. You're like,
Mhm.
"Oh no." I love that. What do you think it is about entrepreneurs specifically that makes us continue on when it does get challenging, when we're faced with all of the, okay, well, this might come crashing down, or we're gonna have to face whatever, the extended family is gonna say. We're gonna have to come up against me basically being a hypocrite of what I was saying. And all of those things. What do you think it is about us that makes us continue on even when it is tough like that and
I
keep
think we
going?
go back to that same spark that pushed us to found something. Whatever it is in our makeup, we had that, why not me? Why couldn't I? That looks like fun. I bet I could do it. I bet I could pull it off. And yes, you get tired and then you have to go back to it, but it's that same thing. I bet I can figure this out. I bet I can change it so it works again. I bet I can pull the business out of the revenue dip and find a new marketing channel. It's a spark. It's just the matured spark.
That's so true. You have a way with words, I will say. The way that you say it, it's like, yeah, that's it exactly. That's exactly what I've been trying to say all of this time. No, I think that's so beautiful. And do you also notice that when you do take a step back, because, when you get so overwhelmed or you are dealing with so much and you're like, all right, I need to take a minute. Do you also feel that pull of being like, all right, that was long enough. I got to get back into it now?
Yes, I have definitely felt like we'll take a 4-day weekend with the family and rest and recharge and read library books and sleep in and suddenly be like, wait, I'm bored. I hate being bored. Like time to break out the to-do list or KonMari the house or something. Like I have to do something.
I think that's amazing. Can I ask how old are your kiddos since you have five that you are homeschooling as well?
Gus. Well, currently they are 5, 8, 11, 14, and 16.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so you have the high schooler.
Mhm.
Did you find that the transition from like middle school to high school lessons, or I guess junior high to high school lessons, I felt like it was all of a sudden everything was only resourced to eighth grade, and then you're like, okay, we have to just figure this out now. This is fun. Is
I had
that
a couple of curriculums I was following that would have gone through high school, but in high school, it coincided with a big shift in our educational philosophy. And so, what I bought and started in August with was not what we were doing, like 3 months later. So, it has definitely been a big cusp point.
I love that. Okay, so then similar vein, do you find that having to plan homeschool and do all of that translates really well into your online business? Because for me, especially, like I said, it's our second year in. I have actually found that having to do all of that has really translated nicely into the productivity side of my business.
Oh, definitely agree. I've always been good at the time management organization stuff. I love it. So I'm like, oh, okay. I can just like stop thinking about the business from that lens as well and change it to homeschooling and like play over here in this field with the same skill set.
I think that's fantastic. What is an overall takeaway or lesson that you think that other mompreneurs would be able to use specifically from your experience?
Change something about your day, but make the something being what you're resentful towards. Like maybe it's the bedtime routine, maybe it's something with your weekend. I almost guarantee it, like there is a part, and maybe like 3 or 5 parts, you're still going, ugh, I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish they didn't always blank. That's what you need to shift first to up your day-to-day enjoyment.
I love that. Do you have any tips of how to like go about that? Because some of it I think is also just us battling our own expectations and things like that. So like um I got into the habit of letting my kiddos sleep in, but then sometimes it's really, really hectic to get our day started because they also like to have some warm-up time. Like once they are awake, they're like, I can't just dive into it. So then we have to go back and be like, okay, well, maybe I do need to wake you up just a little bit more so you do have that slow wake up morning. But again, it's on me. I can't get frustrated at them because I let them sleep in, right? So that's on me. I have to then go and look and see, okay, well, what do we need to do to fix it? But then letting them help troubleshoot that has been really helpful too. There's been a lot of transitions, but I think it's really fun to just have that play and that mix and to see what season we're in at the time. But do you have any tips to kind of go along with how to make that easier?
For sure. So like high schoolers, for example, collaborate with them, have fun, presenting the problem, asking for solutions before you come in with your, well, as the mom, I think it should be this way. And then delegate to them. So if it's like your wake up problem, okay, well, do you think it would help if you started having an alarm? Okay, sure. What kind of alarm? You get to pick. Like, I'm not going to pick the most obnoxious noise ever for you. You have something you like. And then now it's your job to set the alarm and to actually get up when it goes off, and we can agree upon penalties, if you don't. But it takes it off your plate to say, right, it's my job to go in and wake them up because I don't like how the day goes when I don't. Well, it's true, but also, should it actually be your job?
Yep.
Now, when it's maybe little kids, you might need to look at the expectations in a way of like, what's true about this situation right now, but also what would I like it to be? Like, are you like me and you hate being time pressured? And that includes getting everyone loaded up in the car to go someplace, and it takes forever. Then we probably need to back set your get ready to go mentally. Like, do you need 10 minutes from when you say, okay, everyone, time to hop in the van or whatever, because you just know someone's going to say, I need the bathroom. Wait, I need the bathroom. Now they're waiting in line. Now they've, forgot something. Someone's still shoving snacks into their mouth. Somehow it just takes that long. Okay, well then maybe your Google Calendar, if it's 1 p.m., it always says 12:50 p.m. Like, you go in and manually change everything to be 10 minutes ahead, because that's how much time it takes. And you're not going to remember in the moment. Otherwise, you'd look at it and say, oh, it's only at 1 o'clock. We're fine. No, you won't be fine. But let's take the sneaky way around the stress. Let's just tell yourself it's at 12:50.
I love that hack. Absolutely. 100%. I'm chronically like 5 minutes late because of that reason. So I think that that has been very helpful for us to say, okay, I know that I wait too long. So we're gonna now start getting ready way too early. No, but to overcompensate a little bit. I think that is a really great hack. And because it is true, when you're in that moment, there's been times when like it's an hour until I have to go somewhere and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember to tell them early. No, the minute it's time to go, I'm like, well, that did not
Mm-hmm.
work out as I planned because you get involved in saying, oh, I can do one more thing. I can do
Yes.
this one last thing. So I think that's really, really smart. Do you think so in business? How would you translate that tip into like business tasks that you don't necessarily like to do? That's been something I've been tackling this year, as far as like conversations. I'm not great at making myself do them. Wasn't great. I'm a lot better at it now. But what would you say? How do you translate that tip into a task that you don't like to do, but you need to do it for business?
Well, I've got an ADD system for that. Automate, delegate, or delete. So if there is some way to automate it, not have it manual, great. See how that fits in the budget. There's a lot of options. Maybe you can outsource it, pay someone else. Maybe you can say, look, my business marketing plan cannot take this load right now. Like, my white space is not there. I'm just going to delete it for now, and I will bring it back in the future. I still am really behind this strategy. I'm just out of time right now.
I like that. That is fantastic. Is there any last minute thing or last thing that you would like others to know and hear from your story, from your experience?
If it's a priority to you, you will find the time to do it. So think of that when it's something that you want to start and get off the ground. in the long run, it is so worth skipping the refreshing the news, scrolling on your phone, looking over ThreadUp, whatever it is that you just do for fun, you've kind of fallen into, compared to getting the side hustle that could help so many other people off the ground. And if you're in that phase and you're feeling resentful of it, it's great, and now it's a hamster wheel and it takes up all of my energy, then remember you're still the CEO, you're still in charge. You're allowed to pull back. In fact, you need to pull back enough to get yourself that self-care time every day. And I prefer to say you should have like 1 to 2 hours of self-care time a day.
I think that's so wise. I talk about creating space, and that's kind of exactly what that means is like when you do create that space, you don't have to fill it up. You leave it. You leave those spaces for that reason. Um, because it is really easy to just go, 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 go. And then you do feel that resentment and you're like, wait a minute, this is not why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And then how would others get in touch with you? If they're just listening, I will obviously have links in the description for them to get in touch with you. But if they want to soak up what you have to share, if they want to be in your space, or if they want to work with you, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure. Well, all things LinkedIn. So at Alyssa-Wolff-Unbusy, you'll get podcast episode, daily work from home mom hacks, free work-life balance audit opportunities, all sorts of good things. That's number one. And number two, I'm a podcast host as well. So the Unbusy Mom, we have episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and they're under 10 minutes, so they will fit into your schedule. And then lastly, if you want me to audit your current life, it's called the Have It All Game Plan. You can just fill out a quick form at yourunbusylife.com, and I'll send you a video with my recommendations for you.
Amazing. I love it so much. Thank you so much. And the unbusy, that's fantastic. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your story is inspirational, and your willingness to share about it and be open is very much appreciated and needed in this time. So thank you so much, Alyssa. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thanks, Jessica. Me too.
Absolutely. And then for those of you out there facing your own adversity, know that you're not alone. That's why we are doing what we are doing. When you need an extra hand or mind for brainstorming during your mompreneur journey, we would love to work with you through the Mom Elevated Society, which now has Gift Yourself Grace quarterly. It's a reflection point for you. Fantastic. You'll find monthly check-ins for goal setting and assessing also, and so much more for both your business and your mom life. And until next time, keep shooting for the stars.